Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Welcome back to Norton, and welcome back to our transport empire. At least our fledgling transport empire. We do have over $1 million right now, which is very good news because it means that we can have some fun and continue to expand things a little bit around here. And that's going to be important. Having a good amount of money, I think, is going to be important because I'm very tempted to try and play with trains today. And the reason I say that is because you might have already noticed, but in case you haven't, allow me to explain. Norton now wants tools, as well as food and bricks. And so does Bingham. Bingham also wants tools now, as well as food and the machines that it was already getting. Now that's interesting because we were just talking in the last episode about potentially setting up a little tools production line over here by Midhurst. And so what we could potentially do here is go ahead and have some wagons moving some ore and some coal down to this steel mill, and then use that steel to make tools, and then deliver those tools maybe via train to Whitworth, Bingham, and to Norton. And then what we could also do is load up some food onto the train and bring it over to, well, we don't need to bring it to Bingham, but we could bring it back to Midhurst if we really wanted to. That might not be a bad idea. It would be a way to make sure that the train isn't empty going in either direction, meaning it should have a little bit more money coming out of it, which would be absolutely fantastic. So I'm very, very tempted to experiment and see if that is something we can manage to do. I would also like to bring some bricks down into Norton. I think that's kind of important. I think we're getting to a point where we probably do want to experiment with bringing some bricks down into Norton to keep it growing and get it growing even faster. And I would also like to see more people getting on these wagons that go between the different towns, because that's a bit of a concern right now. The fact that it's entirely possible that that line, yep, still losing money, still losing $135,000. So yeah, we might want to do something with that as well. But I do think trains might be the way to go. I really do. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this going. Is what I'm gonna do. So we need 2 iron, 2 coal for 1 steel. Then it's, I guess, 1 steel to 2 tools. So it's actually a pretty good ratio there. And I guess what we'll do is go ahead and use this coal mine over here. And I also want to be able to see the, what is it? Not, is it the contour lines? Yeah, I want to see the contour lines. It's you can't see the contour lines. That's interesting. Oh, you sort of can. Okay, well, you know what? We'll turn off the overlay. I don't know if my overlays are broken because of some mod that I have installed, because that might be why my roads, when I have certain overlays on, appear in black. I honestly have no idea. I will say I didn't bother to check if the mods had actually been updated for whatever this recent version of Transport Fever 2 happens to be. So it's entirely possible that they have in fact not been updated, and that's why there's some weirdness going on. And if that's the case, that's the case. It's, you know, so be it. It's whatever. But for now, let's just go ahead and push straight through this forest. And what we'll do is, I think, just sort of continue sort of this way around that little bit of a wooded area. And we'll go to right about there, I think. And that gives us a connection for that coal mine. We have the iron mine, we have the steel, and this just needs to go up to there. So what I think I can go ahead and do is I think I can look at getting some passenger. Well, we're moving cargo, but I do want to move passengers as well. I think initially, while we don't have a lot of money, let's just use, I guess cargo train, I guess cargo stations. I guess that's kind of what we're going to have to do. Now, these things, I do want them to be longer. I do want these longer platforms because, you know, eventually I'm going to have to upgrade it anyway. So we'll give this a shot. And for now, we just need the 1 set of tracks. For now. I might regret only doing 1 though. So I'll tell you what, let's do the 2. Oh, it's 600. Okay, you know what? We need to save money where we can, so we'll do the 1 for now, right about there. And then I guess, oh man, where am I going to put a train station over here? It's the middle of town that wants the tools as well, so I guess I could maybe take out this road and then maybe put a shorter train station sort of in there. That might be a bit of an option. That is going to result in me having to take out some buildings regardless, but I think that's maybe what we do. And I think we will have to go for the 2 tracks here, which is very expensive. It is very, very expensive to do that, but I think that's kind of what we're going to have to do. So we'll go ahead and we'll do, oh, I don't like it. You know what? I've got an idea. Give me a nice little straight section of road right about here and have it go to about there. And we'll put the station at the end of that road. And that way I'm not going to have to get rid of any buildings, which is going to be preferable in the long run. So that's going to be our station there. As for Bingham, Bingham no longer wants tools. Neither does Norton. Okay, that's frustrating because that was kind of the whole point of what I'm doing here, but eventually they're going to want tools. So eventually they're going to want trains. And I think what we'll do is just go ahead and put the station right down here at the bottom, and we'll go for right about there. And then for this guy in Norton, oh, I don't really know where the station could go for Norton. I'm kind of thinking down here, to be honest. So probably right about there, and that should be fine. And that'll be good for passengers eventually as well, because obviously we do have a lot of houses here, and good Lord, Norton is expanding quite nicely. So that should be fine, and that gives us a pretty good run of tracks. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll just go ahead and configure this guy, and we'll, you know, get the double tracks going right away. And for platforms, it is a little bit expensive, but I think, ooh, that was not where I wanted that. I think we can go ahead and just get these platforms in here as well. So that should be fine. I do still have the automatic parallel tracks mod installed, but whether or not it actually works is another thing entirely. And based on the fact that it's not actually popping up, oh no, there we go. We do actually have the options of parallel tracks, number of tracks 2. So what we can do potentially is just go straight out here. And I don't think it's going to make them parallel because it does cross over a road. But if I do this and then turn it back on, I can sort of head in that direction, which I'm going to want to do. So something like this, and that should be parallel automatically. It absolutely is. We'll go in a nice sort of straight line. I guess we can go in a nice straight line for quite a bit there. So 93,000 is fine by me. And then we want to sort of come around and basically we want to go to there. And that's 170 something thousand. That's not bad, honestly. I'm kind of okay with that. It's going to be 170 something thousand again because I have to do this entire section again, but that's all right. So we go to there, 137,000. So that's all right. That's a decent little run from Midhurst up to Whitworth. What we're now going to want to do is sort of curve this way. It's going to be a little bit slow out of there, but it can still get to 75, which is the top speed. We want to cross here and go to here. Please don't automatically parallel. There we go. And we just want to go straight over to there. So what I'm thinking is keep this as straight as we possibly can up to about there. And that'll be automatically parallel, which is beautiful. And it does actually cost now. I'm pretty sure. I might be Oh, I went a little bit too far there, actually. I'll tell you what, let's take that back a little bit. And let's see if we can't make this line up a little bit better. I didn't realize it was that kind of angle. Okay, so what we want to do is that right there. And that stays 75 the entire length, which is beautiful. We can go ahead and say no parallel tracks and just add this section in as well to about there. And that seems all right. This is actually going to be a pretty good little passenger route if I do get the stations set up for it. Although I think for the time being, we're going to hold off on doing that. I'm also thinking I'm going to have to go here. I'm going to have to go here. And can I get straight through there? I don't know that I can. So let's turn parallel tracks on just to sort of skirt past this guy. So right about there. And that should be automatically parallel. It absolutely is. We want to go straight over. And we want to go straight over. And then we want to just curve this right into that station for $108,000. There we go. That's pretty good, honestly. That will do the job. We just need Bingham and Norton to want tools again, and then we're pretty much set, which is what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and get some tracks in here just so they can cross over. The train's going to be running on the right side. So what we want to do is have a crossover right about there. And what we can do is go all the way back down to Midhurst, and same story. Trains come in on the right side. So they cross from the right to the left as we look at it here. And that seems fine. So that means the trains can go back and forth until their hearts are content. We just happen to need trains, and we happen to need things to move on them. So let's save a little bit of money, and let's get ourselves a couple more truck stations around here so we can make these tools. And at the very least, we'll move them from Midhurst to... Oh, there we go. Bingham wants tools again, and Norton is probably not far behind. Perfect. And so now that we have all these truck stops in, all we need to do is go to new line, and we want to say iron ore going to here. We want to go new line. We want to have coal going to here. And then we want to go new line again. We want the steel going from there to here. And then I wonder if we should have that same line maybe drop off the tools at the train station. What's the ratio on this? It's 1 to 2. So no, we probably don't want to do that. So from here to the station, and that'll be perfectly fine. Obviously, the lines kind of need some names, which is fine by me. What we'll go ahead and do for line number 1 here is road cargo. It is going to be good old Midhurst, and this is iron to steel. So we'll get that one done. We want to go to here. Line number 2 is, I believe, the coal to the steel there. So it's going to be you, and it's going to be coal to steel. Line number 3 is steel to tools. So steel to tools. And then line number 4 is tools to train. So tools to train, and that'll be fine. And we'll go ahead and have these guys be, I guess, that sort of goldy color right about there is perfectly fine. And that'll be the way to distinguish those lines, and that'll be good. We do need to get a road depot in here, but we can absolutely do that in just a moment. Now, when it comes to everything else, we do have demand for tools in Whitworth, and I'm curious to see, so the tools are being demanded up there. I'm gonna give this a shot. I don't know if we're actually gonna need to have any kind of road depot here, but we'll give it a shot anyway, because I just want to make sure. And we'll go ahead and put it right about there, and that'll be fine. And so what we can do is a new line in Whitworth from there going to about there. We want that to be bright pink, and then road cargo is Whitworth, and I guess it is tools delivery is what that's going to be. So that should be totally fine. Then the same thing in Bingham. We want to go new line from here going to about there, and that is going to be road cargo. It is Bingham, so Bingham tools delivery. It's going to be bright yellow. And then Norton doesn't actually want tools right now. So what we'll do instead is we'll go ahead and cut in just a little bit of track here so the trains can cross back over. Something like that. And that should be fine. So now we have all the lines set up. We don't have the trains yet, which is totally fine. Let's just go ahead and get ourselves a road depot. And we'll go ahead and place it down by the industry is probably the best spot for it. So right about, I want to say there. And what we'll do is say 5 vehicles for the coal and the iron each. So we'll go in here and we want to get, I guess, you. So we'll go ahead and buy, I guess 10 of them is probably fair enough. And we'll go ahead and get them painted up the way they should be. Select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And we want it to be on the coal line, the other 5 to be on the iron line. We'll keep the game running while we do this. And we can see that both of those are now getting produced, which is beautiful news. Let's go. Norton wants tools as well. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and say, Oh, how many of these? Let's say 3 for the steel line for now. And we'll say, so that's steel to tools. And then I guess maybe just 2 of them for the tools delivery for the time being. Maybe 3 as well, actually, just because we can. So there we go. We'll go ahead and put those on the tools to train line, and that'll be fantastic. I can also speed that up a little bit by connecting some of these roads, but I'm not really in a rush to do that just yet. Now, when it comes to Whitworth, what we'll do is buy one of these guys. We'll go ahead and paint it bright pink, and that's going to go on the Whitworth tools delivery line right there. So that's going to run back and forth. We're going to do the same in Bingham, which doesn't actually have a road depot. That's fine. So what we'll do is get it from Norton. We'll grab you by 1, paint it bright yellow, and that is Bingham tools delivery. And then we need to do the same thing in Norton here as well. So let's have a look at where everything needs to go. The tools in Norton, where exactly are they wanted? Right there in the middle of town. Okay. We have a truck stop right next to it. That's perfect. So we want a new line right here, go into right there. And that is road cargo. That is going to be Norton. And it's going to be that nice bright red there. Okay. So that's absolutely perfect. We can go ahead and get ourselves a new vehicle. We can go ahead and paint it bright red. We can give it to Norton Tools Delivery. And now everything's set up except for the train, which is annoyingly the most expensive part of all of this. So that's going to be fun, is what that's going to be. I'll tell you what I think we'll do. We'll get ourselves a train depot and we'll place it, I'm going to say right about there, I think. And what I'm going to try and do is just connect this thing to both sections of track. So it's going to go up to there and that's going to go down to there somehow. So I guess we'll just connect it sort of like that for the time being. So the trains can go out, it can turn eventually, it can come back. Everything should be fine. And that seems pretty good. So what we'll do is now set up our first train line going from Midhurst. We'll make this, I guess, let's go for like a really strong red. So from Midhurst, it's going to here. Oh, the autosave slowing things down a little bit. Of course it is. Come on, take it. It's only going to get slower as well. It is only going to get slower. But it goes to there and then it goes to Norton. So that should be fine. We want it to go, so it is going to the right platform, but for some reason it's not switching back to the other side of the track, which is kind of annoying. That's what I'd be wanting it to do. Why is it not switching back? It's switched back. It has the ability to switch back there. That's actually kind of weird. Okay, well, let me add a waypoints. Actually, no, I can just add signals. And we'll just say auto signal. We'll have them every 400 meters. And that should be fine. So I can go ahead and auto signal. Well, we'll do one there to start with. And then we'll go like this, and that should give us... Oh no, that's not auto signaling at all. Okay. That's a bit weird. Is that going to auto signal? Nope. Oh man, please tell me I don't have to automatically... Ah, there we go. All right, so we got some signals there. That's pretty good. We'll go ahead and do a signal here. And that seems to have signaled pretty much the entire way down there, which is good. We'll signal there as well. And now looking at that line, it does transfer over, which is beautiful news. Let's go to the other side. And what are we actually going to call this? So it's train cargo. And I guess it is Midhurst. So Midhurst to Norton, Whitworth, and Bingham Tools is what we'll call it. I guess that's how we'll format it. It's a weird way. I'll probably think of a better way to do it, but for now it'll do just fine. Let's signal there. Let's signal there. And I guess we have to signal. Oh my God, we got to do this the entire way back. Let's go here. And that did automatically signal, which is beautiful news. We'll go ahead and do the same thing right about there. And that gives us double signals the entire way down. Good. Okay. let's try and do sort of a similar thing. Let's signal just before that merging point. It didn't automatically signal, annoyingly. That one did, which is beautiful. And we got a signal right before the station. I don't love that. I don't love that at all. Let's do a signal right here before the cars, and that seems fine by me. That actually seems like it'll work out quite nicely. So now we just need a train. And that's kind of the expensive part of all this. So looking in here, we have steam locomotives. The most expensive one is this guy, the G3. It is $728,000. It's very expensive. It can do 31 miles per hour, which is very tempting. And by very tempting, I mean, I have like $1 million of loan that I can still take. I'm going to take it so I can buy a train. That seems like a worthwhile investment, right? If you had $1 million and you had the choice between buying a train and not buying a train, I feel like you have to buy the train. So I'm going to buy a train, is what we're going to do. It's very, very expensive, prohibitively expensive, perhaps. Let's also paint it. It has these like red wheels. So let's go for like a really mean looking train. That's almost too dark. Let's go for like the next step up from it. So that'll do right there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to commit to the evil looking train. So there we go. In terms of cargo, we need to be moving tools is what we need to be moving. And we're also going to be moving food eventually. So actually we can use the box cars for that. And that's kind of perfect. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a bunch of, oh, those are not good looking box cars. Give me those ones. Those don't look much better either, but we'll see. This is 961,000. Let's go for like 1.5 million capacity 28. That seems fair enough. So we have a train and we're going to see if it works. We're going to put it on the, we're going to put it on this line and see what happens. And that right there is a good looking train, except for the box cars, which look kind of terrible, but that's all right. It's also on the wrong side of the tracks right now, which I don't love. I'm hoping it crosses over. I guess it actually had to make a stop there. That's fair enough. Are we even making tools yet? I really have no idea. You've got nothing on board. You've got nothing on board. You've got nothing in storage. Have we even made steel yet? We have some of that in storage. You've got nothing on board. You've got nothing. Oh my God. Are we making anything right now? We have some coal there, so hopefully we're about to start making some stuff. The train is going and doing its thing, which is brilliant news. I'm just slightly concerned at the fact that we might actually want to... Oh, how are we going to do this now that I think about it? How are we going to move food from this place? I guess we maybe move the food to Bingham is what we do. So move the food into Bingham, drop it off, and then have the train pick it up. That might be the way to go. And then if we have it dropped off here, we just need to deliver it into Midhurst, which should be doable. Although thinking about it, it does have coverage on... Oh no, the food's wanted up there. Never mind. Okay, yeah, so we are going to need a truck station for one. Make it a little bit smaller, spin it around, and we'll go ahead and put it right about there. Then the drop-off point is going to be there. And that should be fine, right? So we'll go ahead and create a new line from here to there. It's going to be that golden color. It's road cargo. It is Midhurst, and that's Midhurst, and it's just food delivery is what it's going to be. And I'm pretty sure we can do that. We just want to make sure we're loading up on food, which is right down here. And that should be fine. We just need to bring the food to the train, of course, which is a whole other thing. We do have some excess. At least we have a good bit sitting around. So I think we can probably get away with this. I'm hoping we can get away with this. Norton doesn't actually want tools anymore, which is slightly frustrating. Bingham does. So here's hoping we can do some good things. Honestly, I think we do move food from here and drop it off over there. So new line from here to there. That should be fine. And that is going to be road cargo. It is Bingham and it's food to train. is what it's going to be. I don't know how well this is necessarily going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. And we're also going to give it just a handful of wagons. We're not going to go too crazy on this. We'll say 3 for the time being because this might start to lose money, but food to train is good to go. Then we just need to go to the train line. We need to manage that line, and we need to say Norton. After Norton, go ahead and stop in Bingham on platform 2, where you are going to load up on food, and then you're going to drop that off in Midhurst. So in Midhurst, you're loading up on tools, you're dropping off food. In Whitworth, you are unloading tools. In Bingham, you are unloading tools. In Norton, you are unloading tools. And then in Bingham, you are loading up on food. That should be fine. That'll hopefully work out. In theory. In theory, we're about to have a bit of an interesting little train line there. And for this guy, it's going to need some vehicles. So let's go ahead and say, just give me 1 for now. We don't need to go too crazy on this. We'll just say 1 vehicle, and it's going to go on the food delivery line. And so just like that, we have the train picking up its first delivery of food. It has 10 units on board, which is pretty decent. I also made this journey a little bit shorter by extending this road here. So food should get to the station a little bit quicker. And then looking down here by Midhurst, we actually do have some tools waiting around for the train to pick up when it gets down here, which is fantastic news. So it shouldn't be too long until we see things picking up a little bit. We do have an abundance of coal and ore, iron ore sitting around. So I'm very tempted to say that maybe what we do is start to double the amount of vehicles on each of these lines just a little bit, just to try and get this bowl really rolling. I don't necessarily have enough money to do that, unfortunately, but that's what I'm thinking we probably need to do, is just get these guys duplicated, get a bunch more steel going, eventually start moving all that steel up into the tools production, and we should be good once we get that going. I'm also thinking that we will probably be able to. Ooh, I've just realized Bingham wants machines. Are we delivering? We are delivering machines to Bingham. We could move them there by train if we wanted to. I don't think we need to. What I'm curious about, though, is to see just how much 10 units of food happen to be worth via train. And I'm also thinking the train might actually fill up on the way back here with the amount of tools that we have sitting around, which is lovely. So let's take a look here. It is $171,000. That's not bad. We still have some tools sitting around, and those will get dispersed between, I guess, good old Whitworth and Bingham. And then when Norton happens to want some tools as well, that'll be a thing that happens there. And that'll be perfectly fine. So that's good. We actually have money now being made on this this particular train line. It's not necessarily turning a profit, but it's money nonetheless, and that's what's important. So, you know, don't look a gift train in the engine, I guess. And you know, speaking of being curious, I'm curious to see just how much gets dropped off here in Whitworth. So 210,000, we dropped 20. That's not bad at all. And we only have 1 cart moving all of that, so we'll have to take 4 trips to get that out of there. But honestly, no complaints. No complaints at all. I'm actually quite happy with that. Bingham's population is approaching 500, which is lovely. Norton is approaching 400, which is lovely. And looking elsewhere, I mean, Peterlee is just over 300. That's not too bad. They could probably use more goods deliveries, though. And, I mean, look in here. We're actually a little bit low on everything. I'm starting to think my rate... Ooh. Now, hold on a second. Why does it seem like... So we have an excess here. We have an excess here. We don't have an excess of steel anymore. So I think my ratios might have gotten a little bit funky somewhere along the line, which has got me a little bit concerned. So let's review is what I'm thinking here. So these are the blue and the green lines. So, oh man, how is this going to work? What are the ratios I'm looking at here? So crude oil to oil. Let's start with that one. So crude oil, we have a lot of it. It is 2 to 1. on that. And then oil to plastic is a 1-to-1. So I don't necessarily think that matters too much. They are still making money, although the oil to plastic line isn't, which is a little bit worrying. And oil to plastic actually doesn't have that much in the way of, there's no excess there, which is very, very weird. And to be fair, hold on a minute. So that's the delivery, that's the export. Oil to fuel to delivery has actually got some excess sitting around there. So let's manage those vehicles and let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, duplicate. That'll give us 15 on that line. That'll be fine. So that's a bit weird that the oil to plastic side of this thing is, there's just no demand for it. But I wonder if that's because there's not enough steel. I mean, if we look at the goods factory, oh, they do have steel in storage. That is a bit odd. That is definitely a bit odd. We're also, I guess, maybe not meeting the demand down here anymore. Okay. So let's have a look into the steel side of things. So coal to steel is here. It has a rate of 72. Iron has 73. And then steel to goods is 38. That's still relatively solid. That is kind of weird. And then plastic to goods is being let down as well. So the rates are okay, but what if we were to go into, say, coal to steel and bring that rate up to like 100? What if I go and say, give me 2 more vehicles, that'll give me 91, give me 1 more vehicle, that'll give me 100, right? And then if we go to iron, manage vehicles, and say, give me 2 more of those, give me 2 more of those, give me 1 more of those. That gives me 96, give me 1 more, that should give me like 101, that's fine. So now we should end up with an excess of steel, in theory. That's not necessarily going to give us an excess of plastic though, or an excess of goods. Plastic might actually be the problem. So plastic to goods is 35, right? So plastic to goods is 35. Oil to plastic is also 35. Ah. I wonder if that's doing it. Hold on, wait, no, that won't be doing it. Wait, crude oil to oil is 100 and that. Oh, I wonder if we just supply more, because we do still have a pretty substantial excess down here. Yeah. So what if we just do crude oil to oil, manage vehicles, there's 32 of them. Give me, I don't know, 8 more. We'll go up to 40. Maybe give me 2 more, give me 50 in total. That gives us a rate of 201. That might just improve things a little bit. And then this guy over here, this is the Peterlee fuel delivery. Manage those vehicles, just duplicate the entire fleet that we have there. And that'll get a bunch more fuel going down to Peterlee. And we'll see what that does. We'll see if that helps us out. It might not. I'm not really too concerned one way or other. We're still making money. We have an excess of sand and fuel over here, which is wild to think about. We actually have a lot of excess around here, which is good. I mean, it's not good, it's going to waste, but it's also good because it means that when I sort it out, it's more money, and that's kind of what we're looking for. We also have a delivery of food waiting to go into Midhurst here. So let me just, you know what? I don't think we need another vehicle for that. I think the one wagon is probably enough. You know, it's also just hit me that none of these vehicles down here have been upgraded recently, and I did just buy a bunch of new ones, so I probably need to do that. Although I have just upgraded this depot as well to hold more things at once, and also have this additional exit here, so traffic should be able to get in and out just a little bit easier, which is always going to be a good thing. Now, looking at this line, have I made a bit of an oopsie? I absolutely have. These guys, so this one, the oil to fuel to delivery line has been upgraded. The oil to plastic line has not, and the crude oil to oil line has not. That's, I think, where I've gone slightly wrong here. So managing these vehicles, there's 50 of them. Replacing all of those on a crude oil to oil line is going to be $1.2 million. That's a bit much. And then the oil to plastic line has 24 of them. That's still going to be about $600,000. So long story short, we're probably not going to be upgrading those just yet. I would like to, but we're probably not going to be doing that yet because we can't really afford to. Although we are starting to see more money come in. We've had the food get delivered to Midhurst, which is great news. We have the tools ready to go out. We have a train that is 19 out of 20. That's well, 19 out of what, 28 or something like that. That's not bad. Let's see just how much money we get for the food delivery. 325,000. That's actually not bad at all. And then almost a full load of tools as well. So no complaints there whatsoever. That's going to be going well for us. And then looking overall, if we sort by balance, not bad. I mean, the train isn't making as much money as I'd like. It's definitely a little bit slow right now, but that Peterlee fuel delivery line is losing massive amounts of money. I don't love that. And just like that, we've also managed to go ahead and upgrade all of the wagons down here. So now we're moving a lot more oil, crude oil that is, a little bit faster. And hopefully that's going to have some knock-on effects in making this place a little bit more efficient. Now, looking at this, I'm really tempted to expand this and also give it an exit up at the top end there. That might not be a bad idea. It might even just not be a bad idea to just give it some secondary street access right there and see how that goes. So we'll go ahead and just do something like that. And then looking at it, we're gonna have some overlap, but we'll see what happens. At the very least, it means that not all of the vehicles are going to be entering from this end of things, and so that should, in theory, speed things up just a little bit. At least I hope so. In the long run, maybe. Right now, this is just going to be an absolute cluster of wagons trying to come and go, but I'm not really too worried about that. Again, it'll sort itself out as time goes by. We have this guy, which is starting to empty out a little bit, which is what we want to see. Hopefully that means that Peterlee is going to be getting a bit more fuel. It absolutely is. Looking over here, we have a little bit of plastic, no goods. We have a bit of steel excess as well, which is okay. That's kind of what I was looking for by getting some more vehicles onto these lines and just expanding them and whatnot. So hopefully some good things happen there. I think this area it's definitely needing optimized. And I know I said I was going to do some optimization today, but then I got slightly sidetracked, pun intended, by a train, which I think is fair enough. You know, if you're going to get distracted by anything, then it should probably be a train. Although I would like to do a little bit of just management down here by Midhurst because it is a little bit chaotic at the minute. So the iron and coal have a rate of, let's see here, 51 and what is that, 67? Yeah, so 67 there. The coal is 51. Let's go ahead and pin the iron one. Let's go ahead and pin the coal one. Manage the vehicles, and let's grab two more. And is that going to bring me to, oh, the autosave got me again. Is that going to bring me anywhere close to 67 once the duplicate goes through? 62, 68 at the top though, so duplicate one more, 67, that's perfect. So that means, I guess that's going to be about 34-ish on the rate of steel. So if we go and we look at these lines again, we keep this pinned. Steel to tools currently has a rate of 14. So we'll go ahead and manage those vehicles. We'll just duplicate that. Gives us 28-ish. Give me two more of those. And that gives me 38. Let me sell one of those. So we'll have a little bit of excess. Gives me 33. That's perfect. That's exactly where I want it. And then it should be a 1-to-1 on steel. No, it's not. So that gives us, ooh. Okay, so if this line has 33, that means that the tools line, tools to train, needs to be about 66. So duplicate you guys. That gives me 38. Give me two more. Should give me about 60, maybe 50 rather. Two more should give me about 63. That's fine. So that should give us a little bit of excess steel, a little bit of excess tools, and that should mean that we're moving a bunch more tools onto the train at a time. And that's good because I did just add a few more vehicles to bring food over to Bingham to put it on the train. So we should have more things getting moved via train, which is more money, which is more things to then go and put on trains and wagons and eventually planes and boats as well. Because keep in mind, it is a tropical map. And there are some coastlines like over here. We could have some stuff going out to Warwick for example, we could have, ooh, I've just realized Petworth wants goods. Why don't we try to move goods from here, you know, to Peterlee and Petworth, and then eventually by boat over to Warwick? That might be kind of cool. Might not be a terrible idea. We could move them down to here as well. We could get some goods down to Pershore. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. We've got Midsummer Norton down here as well. We can have goods come down the coast. We've definitely got some options. We've definitely got some options, which I'm really excited about. I'm actually just really pleased with how this whole thing has turned out here. It looks pretty cool. I'm also thinking that it might not be a terrible idea to just add a cheeky little bit of road right about there. Right, so a little cheeky section of road right about there, and then a cheeky little section of road right about there. All right, we'll go ahead and run this guy straight up and straight over, so it connects quite nicely. And then this guy is gonna come down a little something. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if it's gonna work with me. Little something like that, I think, is pretty good. So that should mean that these wagons can now use this section of road to get in just a little bit quicker. And so that's going to speed things up really nicely for us. So that's good. That's going to make getting some tools onto the train that little bit quicker. We should have, I think, yeah, we do, a full load of food coming down here to Midhurst, which has a whole bunch of tools waiting. So I'm curious to see how much that's actually going to give me. And then I think what we can do is probably expand the train just a little bit to carry some more, because it's going to be moving a lot of things a lot of the time. It's going to be making a lot of money in theory. So let's take a little bit of a look and see what we're looking at. We're looking at 478,000, just shy of $500,000. So I think that's cause for celebration. I think what we can do is go and put more boxcars on here. So let's just do, I don't know, we've got 28 capacity right now. Let's go up to 40. Let's go for maybe 60, 932,000 to modify that. Top speed still 31 miles per hour. That's not bad. Its performance is mediocre, but sure, we'll do that. And that seems pretty good to me. That seems pretty good. It's going to take a little while for that thing to fill up, but when it does, it's going to be a pretty good time, is what I think it's going to be. And speaking of good times, I hope you've enjoyed this video, because that's going to be doing us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. I'm so glad we've got our first train going here. I'm hoping that Norton is going to want to get some tools in here at some point. I do think we should look at bringing some construction materials down here as well, especially considering just how much sand we have sitting around and just how many bricks we have sitting around. We could absolutely do with bringing some construction materials down, maybe another train to bring them down that way. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we bring some goods from Peterlee down to Norton, put them on a train and take them up to New Mills. Maybe that's how we do things. I'm not too sure just yet, but we'll figure it out. Either way, thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.